JD and the Duffle Bag podcast, yeah? And listen, so, because I feel like I don't really do introductions, really. I just chat and just say the name of the person that I'm with. Mm-hmm. But I think it's very key to put the Grammy award winning before anything, yeah? LMA's with me. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I feel like having the Grammy award winning beforehand is kind of like, you know, like the MBE kind of title. Like you kind of have to just say that. I'm
still not used to it. That's the craziest part. When everyone says it, I'm like, wait,
Is
hi.
It? Yeah.
Like I'm still proper not used to it, but it sounds amazing. Thank you.
Is that like sort of now like the title? So if someone introduces you, is that kind of like the thing that you kind of have to say at the beginning while introducing?
I personally wouldn't tell anyone to say that. I wouldn't say like, oh, you have to put Grammy award winning LMA. But most people, if someone's introducing me, they do that because I guess that's like, you know, the Grammys is like the highest form of recognition in music. Course. So I think that's just what people say. Yeah, but I wouldn't personally tell someone. Yeah, you need to
say that. Of course. Yeah, that wouldn't come off that too well. But yeah, it must take like. Are you used to the fact that like? Because surely growing up as a kid, like, and knowing that is the highest, that's like literally like one of the highest points of an achievement. Like thinking about it now, I see you smiling in that. Like it must still feel a bit mad, doesn't it?
No, it is. It's so crazy. It's so surreal. I was just saying because the Grammys is coming up again, so I'm like, it's crazy to even think that like. It's crazy to think that I just think about the moment when it happened and I remember exactly like we were all in a Sprinter van going to the Grammys because the award that we won got, it's on the pre-show. So like it got announced and we were watching the broadcast and me and Mustard were together in the Sprinter. My mum was there, like all of our teams and they said LMA booed up and everyone just lost it. Like we actually all went crazy. But every time someone says Grammy award winning, it just flashes back to that moment in my head. And it was just like one of the best moments of my life. So
I could imagine. There's a lot of things I want to speak to you about, yeah. But before I do that, because I was having a conversation with somebody today. You're an R&B lover, obviously, and so am I.
Yeah.
That's like elements of my foundation. And I speak a lot, like I do podcasts and like I talk a lot about like grime and rap and whatever, yeah. But I feel like I never proper get to chat about R&B. And like when I was thinking about the last couple of years, yeah, or the last few years, like R&B has just had like. It's literally just soaring. And then even this year, when you think about some of the music that's come out this year, it's crazy. Like some of my favorite stuff has come out. Sir, one of my favorites. Like,
so fire.
What are you listening to?
Oh, in the R&B world.
Yeah.
Let's think. To be honest, I listen to a little bit of everything. I love Snow Allegra's album.
Hard.
I think she has the best album of this year.
Yeah.
I really, really, really like her album. I like Sir, I listen to Sir. I know Ari Lennox. Ari Lennox's album is crazy. Summer's album she put out. I like the new single actually that she just put out. There's just, I think especially female R&B right now. Like the men are doing it as well. Like I have to give it to the men too. And you know, like I'm a big Chris Brown lover. He dropped Indigo, fire. But like the females right now.
Yeah, hard. Like, you lot are doing your thing.
Kaylani, I know she's working on her album. So like R&B just in general, the new school, the new age of R&B, because I know everyone's always like 90s R&B, 2000s R&B. I don't think we'll ever quite get that feel back, but sometimes I feel like it's, you know, sometimes stuff happens and it's not really supposed to come back.
No, I agree with that still. Even actually just before that, because I'm not going to lie to you, I feel like I was trying to draw my top 5. So like I've like...
Of the year or
of the
general?
year.
Okay.
Of the year. Okay. So like as a DJ as well, yeah, come the end of the... It's just my own personal thing. It's not about like buzz, numbers or anything like that. Like just amongst music people that love talking about music. I just drew out my list on like top 5 this and whatever. Yeah. So I drew my top 5 of the year. So you let me know if it's actually a wave. So I actually put Sir as my number 1. I put Snow Allegra as my number 2. I had Etta Bond. Yeah, she had a project called He's Mine.
Yes.
Summer Walker. And then Mahalia's, because I know you work with Mahalia as well.
My girl, Mahalia.
It's all right. It works.
It's personal preference, isn't it? That's what I always say to people. Like, music really is personal preference. So your top 5 is going to be completely different to my top 5 or someone else's top 5 because it's what you like to listen to.
Got you.
Are you? If you're asking me to do my top 5,
no, I wouldn't because you know what? I know that someone's going to get upset.
No, I don't think anyone would. I mean, like I said, anyway, Snow's album is my favorite. It's number 1 for me. So.
And then Go on,
And
go
then-
for it. Go on, tell
and
me.
then,
What else?
Um,
Just tell me two others.
two others. Kaylani's While We Wait.
Okay.
I think that doesn't get enough credit because I think she has some great music on that. But it was short. It was more so, I think, an EP more than like an album. And what else do I listen to? I think.
It's hard when someone asks you on a spot, innit?
I know.
'Cause
If I
it's
was
like,
to
if
go
you
through
went
my phone.
Yeah. Because you'll leave here and you'll think, I didn't say this. I didn't say that. I've been listening to this.
Yeah.
That happens to me all the time.
Snow, Kaylani, and Mahalia. I'd put Mahalia there too. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I hear that.
Definitely.
Well, as I said, like, I think over the last couple of years, things are starting to look good. I know that, like, in the UK, particularly, R&B music it's been tough because I think growing up as well, a lot of the music that a lot of young people were listening to, if it wasn't R&B from overseas,
Right.
it was like grime or rap or whatever it may be. But you must have felt the change in that over here, right?
I did, and I think I moved away from London when I was 12, and I moved to New York, and I think that had a lot of influence on what I was listening to. So I think I was exposed to a lot more that I wasn't when I was here, when I went to New York. But I moved back here when I was 17. And that was when I first, like, I didn't understand grime at first, because I think it's a culture thing also that you have to, like, understand with grime.
Yeah.
So when I knew about grime when I was in New York, but once I moved back, then I fully, like, understood it. But with the R&B scene, I remember moving back, and I remember Angel just put out, I think it was Any Minute Now, which I love. Like, I love Angel. And I remember coming back to that, and I'm like, okay, cool. This is what's going on right now. And just seeing how it's progressed in those years, from then until now, that was maybe like, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It's come a long way. And I think it's still tough in the States. So it's still even tougher, obviously, over here.
Of course.
But I think it's in a great place. And I think, to be honest, when you're looking at, like, the direction, it's only going up. I don't see it dropping. So
no,
it's
your stats speak for that as well, I think, because
thank you.
Even then, like, you haven't really put out anything for the last year, well, since your project. I know you've been touring a lot, but even now, like, you look at the billboards and your music is still, people are still streaming it hard.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like, when I look at it, I'm like, I saw one of my fan pages put together like a list of all the charts from this year alone, and Trip and Boo'd Up were still very high on a lot of the R&B charts, and I was like, Trip and Boo'd Up peaked last year, so to have those still there, obviously Shot Clock was there also, and other stuff too, but like to have those still there a whole year later when they peaked in 2018 is a bit crazy, because that means people are still listening.
What Boo'd Up actually did at a point was so mad. Like, you got to think as well, yeah, from a DJ point of view, like, there was a point in clubs, yeah, where, like, years ago, like, last hour you could play slow jams, yeah, and it would be a vibe. Everyone would still hang around, whatever, and, like, maybe a couple scrabble dabs, like, you know what I mean, you might meet a girl, whatever, a little dance.
A little vibe.
But then it got to a point where it was like, you play slow jams at the end and everyone leaves.
Yeah.
But then it's like, when you had that rhythm out, yeah, you could play that midway into the night, and it was just like, it was a whole different vibe.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And like, that was non-existent at a point.
It's really insane when you think about what Boo'd Up did. And I think sometimes I forget, like, how big it actually was and is. Because I think, you know, a lot of people would still play it today. And I mean, it's only a couple years later, but like, I see so many people saying, like, this is what you're going to play 10 years down the line, and tell your kids, like, you don't know nothing about this.
Yeah.
And just to be a part of that, like, you know, the resurgence of R&B and last year when it was peaking, I beat Mariah Carey and Mary J. Blige, and these are people I look up to, I grew up looking up to. So to like overtake them and be like, you know, number one on R&B airplay and stuff like that, it's insane to actually think about. And then to still be able to play the song and people go crazy, like every single time I do it,
of course.
It's like, I can't really describe it, but it's a crazy feeling.
I could imagine. Let's go to the beginning a little bit, actually. Yeah. What part of London are you from?
Southwest.
South, yeah. So you left South when you was 12, went to New York, yeah. How? Why?
My mum's a teacher, so my mum got a job in a school, and I was 12, so I had to go with her. I didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
And I just went to school for 5 years in New York, but I didn't really do anything to do with music. I think I did one vocal program, and I kind of shied away from it until I moved back here when I was 17, and I decided like, yeah, this is actually what I want to do.
So when you came back when you were 17, did you have to start again with friends, or did you already have friends from before?
Kinda. I've had the same like 2 best friends since I was 3. Those are still my best friends to this day. One of them was actually just here. So it's like them 2 have always been there. Yeah. Everyone else I kind of had to make new friends, but it was really like learning something all over again for me, because when I was 12, before I left, I only did 1 year in high school here. So I didn't really get on the train by myself and go to Central or anything like that. So moving, I went to New York and learned all of that, and I know New York like the back of my hand because I grew up and did my teenage years there. Yeah. But moving back here when I was 17, it's like I had to learn something all over again. So I had to get a job, obviously. I had to learn how to take the train by myself, but I was already like 17, so I was kind of, I should know this stuff type of thing because this is where I'm from and this is my home technically. But yeah, I had to start all over again. I had to get a job. That's how I really made the newer friends that I have. But my 2 best friends, they've always been there, yeah. Okay.
Well, you're lucky with the transport, because I always feel that like the London Underground is easier to maneuver around than that New York system.
It is.
To me, that system is nuts to me.
It is. But because I used it all the time, so you just get used to it.
Of
it's
course.
like how now you wouldn't think people might come over here and think the tube is a little bit confusing, but I think it's just what you know, really.
Yeah. So then when did you realize that you kind of had a gift for writing though? Or did you not really see it like that?
I think I realized that quite late. I think I had to get in with other writers to realize that, because I always thought that songwriting was like you had to be some type of like poet. I just always looked at it as like, I can't do it, basically. That's what. And then I went to school for music, and we did a songwriting class there, and that's the first time I really started songwriting. That was maybe when I was 18 or 19. Okay. That's when I first started writing songs. I'm 25 now. So, oh my God, to even say that.
You're still young though. Where you don't feel old. Do you feel old?
Sometimes I do, but I think I'm just used to saying like I was 18, and 18 wasn't that far away. But now I'm getting older. I'm like, 18's kind of far away. But yeah, no, that's when I first started songwriting and writing my own songs. But I think it was once I met Mustard and got in the studio with other writers that I realized that, no, I actually do know how to write, even though I'd written before that. But I think writing with other people and bouncing off of their ideas, your ideas bouncing off of theirs, it kind of, not like a validation, but I can't explain it, but it just made me feel like, okay, cool, I can keep up. And these are like experienced writers. So word. Yeah. Explain
to me, because like I saw something about the British and Irish Institute. Yeah. What is that?
It's a uni basically. It's in Fulham.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
So and like what is it, a music college or something like that?
Yeah. So there's musicians, like people who play the guitar, the drums, stuff like that. Or there's people who go for vocal. Yeah. But you kind of all intertwine. You do like band stuff, you have to create bands, and then there's like the theory side of it where you learn how to read and write music. Yeah. You write essays about music business. It's like a big spectrum basically.
Do you need a particular thing to get in there, or?
You have to audition. So it's like I had to audition and sing. Someone who plays the drums would have to audition and play the drums. Yeah.
Was that the first time auditioning for you, like doing something like that?
No, I've been performing since I was young. So yeah, so before I left to go to New York, I used to do performing arts.
Oh, okay.
So I've always done it, but yeah, when I was in New York, I just kind of stopped because I was already so different. I felt really out of place when I first moved to New York. So I didn't really want a reason for anyone, like any more of a reason for anyone to ask me anything. So I never told anyone I could sing.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like that's mad as well, because like I always feel like people that can sing usually always find themselves singing in every. I used to say this about dancers actually. Yeah. See, like you can always usually spot a dancer because there will be like even at the funeral there'll be like like even at a funeral they'll just be dancing and that.
Yeah, I left it. I just left it alone, and I used to play football as well. So I think I was concentrating on football. I really wanted to be a professional football player, so I was concentrating on that. And then my high school graduation in New York, I sung the national anthem, which is kind of. I'm not even American, so why I sung it, I don't know. But they asked me to because my very last project that I did in high school, I spoke and did an internship about performing arts. That was the first time a lot of people realized or even knew that I was interested in it. And then I sang at graduation and people were like,
What?
we've known you for 4 years. Like, where did this come from? But I was just like, oh, just
Yeah. There was even a little period where it was like people were mad surprised that he was even British because
I know.
you
Because
spent.
you can't, I think, do you know what? It's confusing with me though as well, because I spent from the ages of 12 to 17 in New York, which are like pivotal years of your life in like growing up and like what you know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people look at me as American, even though I was born here. And technically I've spent more years in England than I have in America. But I mean, I claim, obviously anyone asks me, I'm going to say I'm British, but I do also think a part of me does have that New Yorker in me as well.
Yeah.
Because I went to high school there.
Like, does here still feel like where are you living right now? Are you living in LA? Yeah. So like, see when you come here, does it still feel like home? Do you get that vibe? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, all of my family are still here.
Yeah.
My mum's still here, my brother's here, my grandma's here. Like, everyone's still here. So in that aspect, it definitely does feel like home. And even if I walk down the street, or just the aspect of like knowing where I'm going and not having to like knowing where to eat, stuff like that, like it definitely still feels like home. And I think it will always feel like home, as in where I'm from.
Yeah.
Home as in like where I feel at home.
Is when you have your house.
Yeah, it's my house, it's my car, like that type of thing. So for me, that's LA. But it took a while. I've been in LA for 3 years now living, and it only in the last half a year has really felt like home.
Do you feel like, well, naturally, obviously, like by meeting Mustard and stuff like that, and being in America and being around, you know, some of the writers that you've been around, naturally, that's kind of like really helped you to a massive degree. Do you feel like that infrastructure with a lot of people that are leaving here in particularly to go to LA and work on music and stuff like that? Do you feel like at some point, especially for the singers, that it may not have to be like that so much anymore? Because I know for years anyway, like it's always felt that people have always like, in order for me to, you know, be in the right circles more than anything, I should really be over there and be in the mix of everything. Like, what is your kind of take on that?
I agree with it to a certain extent, but not fully.
Yeah.
I think that as an R&B singer, definitely, I think it's important to expand over there, but I don't necessarily think you have to live there and continuously work with American producers. There's more than enough talented people here that can do it, but I think the industries are just a little bit different in a sense of like the English industry is very much pop based, obviously.
Yeah.
And grime now has given it a different approach, because grime is one of the most popular genres of music that we have over here now.
Yeah.
But in a sense of actually having to pick up and like take yourself there and commit to that, I don't necessarily think you have to, but I do think it's important for you to go and work with producers there also. But I think it all depends on the person as well. Like for me, it was never in my mind that I was going to sign in England. Never.
Okay.
I never wanted to be turned into a pop artist. I never wanted to be the pop girl that sings on a whole bunch of different songs. You know, like I've always wanted to, and that's not to say I'll never sing a pop song.
Yeah.
You know, I just did a song with Ed Sheeran, which is something that I've never ever done before in a sense of like the sound of the music, but I love it. So that's not to say I'll never do a pop song. But that's
different. It's like you doing one thing or the occasional thing is different to being who you are and that being your identity. Yeah,
and I think it's harder. It's not hard, but it's harder in England to remain true to what you really want to do, I think, when you're signed to a major label.
Yeah.
And I think that really is the problem. But I think the industry, looking at the industry in America now, I think it's giving room and showing the labels that there really is a need for this type of music, because everyone loves it. So why wouldn't you? Of
course. Well, don't you think as well, like the internet sort of like has opened it a lot more now,
100%.
and it's like the playing field is so different to how it was before.
Yeah.
Purely because like at some like there's still gatekeepers to a degree, but I feel like it's a lot of that has just changed. People are making music in their bedroom and hitting the sky with it, and like I know that sonically R&B music is a bit different, like the way that it's produced and stuff like that. But I think as a whole, in general, the internet has sort of opened the gates a lot more, and like kids and people are like just literally going on YouTube or Spotify and literally just like scrolling until they find something. So I think social media and the internet has just really cut out the middleman. Yeah. Like you don't have to have a whole team of people who really know what they're doing
to find commercial success at the start. But obviously, once you get there, you know, if you blow up and you have a huge song or whatever, then in order to follow up and to build that foundation, then you need that. But like to start off, it's quite simple. Everything is really accessible. Yeah. You can find a beat or you can make a beat yourself. There's, you know, like everyone has access to, most people have access to a computer, Fruity Loops or Logic, whatever it is that you use. You can play around with stuff and really make something that you might not think could ever be something, but then it could. So it's really just about accessibility.
What is the feeling actually, like, you spent a lot of time making music before a lot of people knew who you was, yeah? So it's not like you just came out of the absolute blue.
Overnight success doesn't exist.
Exactly. You've been out here working, like, for real. You've been out here working and stuff like that, yeah? Then, like, things have happened, but, like, what has it actually been like to then start hitting that level of success? Like, have you been able to enjoy it in the moments as it's like pure, or are you like just that typical thing of just moving around and kind of enjoying this for that moment and then like going and then enjoying that for that moment or whatever? In the time, are you actually really truly able to be like, this is crazy?
It depends on what it is. Some stuff gets like, for example, I've been on tour the whole year. Yeah. Like literally the whole year.
You finished that, what, around September-ish times, right? Or was it May? When did you finish your actual tour?
I'm still.
You're still touring now?
I finished next year, the start of next year. I'm about to go to Australia.
Crazy.
And that's the last leg of the debut tour. But I started in January and I finished in January.
Mental.
So it's literally the whole year. And it's been, you know, it's been my tour. I then went on tour with Ariana Grande. Okay. And then picked back up on my tour. So it's been bits and pieces. But like, when I think back now and think about the whole year, and you know, I've been to all these different award shows, met people that are icons and that I grew up like loving, like to think about it now, it's insane. Yeah. But sometimes in the moment, sometimes you don't enjoy it in the moment, not because it's not enjoyable, but because it's just you just keep moving. Like I'm on tour, I wake up in a different city, I go and do that show and I wake up in a different city the next day. And sometimes you don't even have a moment to process what's actually going on. Yeah. But I think it's important to have people around you that remind you and not constantly gas you up, but like remind you, like, if you're stressed about something, just remember that, yes, this is stressful, but this is not life or death. And remember what you did yesterday, or remember that this just happened, or remember that just happened. And then you're like, you know what, actually, I need to relax and just realize that this really is a blessing. That's
key, I think. I think it's really important to have people around you that can like put things into perspective, because when you're in it,
I think that's the main. That people always say to me, what is the one thing you would say, like, to someone, like if 5 years down the line or going back to my previous self, what would you say to yourself? And I always say, just keep good people around you. That's like super important.
Do you, when you get home, when you have them little moments of like literally just having a break, do you get agitated? Because you're moving around so much. Because you're moving around so much. Like, I've toured with artists and stuff before. And I ain't going to lie, there's been times where like, at the time, you know, you're moving around and it's like, you're here, you got to get up early, you got to go to the next city, you got to do all of that. You eat food. Sometimes you don't get to see much of the place that you're in or whatever. But you're moving around a lot. And there is like massive enjoyable parts about it, especially as the artist yourself. Yeah. But then you come home after 9 months of being not at home, and then you get home. What happens?
This is such a great question, because I was literally just talking to my manager about this. And being on tour, there's days where, like, as much as it is what I love to do, and I wake up and I'm blessed to be able to wake up and do what I love to do. Yeah. Sometimes you're not in the mood. Like yes, sometimes you're having a bad day.
Of course.
But you know, as an artist, you're not allowed to have a bad day.
You're not allowed to have that.
You still have to get on stage and you still have to perform. And getting on stage makes it better. But sometimes you're like, oh, I just want to go home. Like, I need a break. So now, this last probably couple weeks has been my first actual break that I've had the whole year. Like, I've had a week here, a couple days here, but this has been like the first time I've had a solid amount. Yeah. And when I tell you, I don't know what to do with myself. I literally thought I wanted time off so bad. After being home for like 4 days, I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know how to not be on tour. Like, I don't know how to not do anything. I get agitated. I feel antsy. I'm like, I need to do something. I feel useless. Yeah. So there's times where you feel like you need it and then you get it and then you're like, okay, well, now I'm bored. So what am I supposed to do?
It's
like,
I know this is so different. It's so different, but the sentiment's almost the same. I remember I had knee surgery, and then but I knew at a point at this point I'm gonna have to do nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna prepare for not doing anything. So I'm gonna have some documentaries lined up, some books, all of that type of stuff. So anyway, I've had my surgery. It's cool. I've got home. The first day's all right because I'm just chilling, and I'm having a break because life is hectic.
Right.
The second day's okay because I'm having a break. Life's been hectic. Then the third day, I'm like, nah, I need to get the hell out of here.
No, it's exactly that. Like, you need a couple days to rejuvenate and even just for your body itself. Like, just being, you might not feel tired, but physically it's strenuous on your body to be traveling and moving around so much. But when you get so used to that and that's a blessing in itself, to be able to continuously do different things every day, or be in a different city every day, see the world and get to do what you love. But the breaks, I think I've learned I like to keep them to a minimum. I wonder if like the breaks though actually make you really realize that your life has changed. 100% they do.
Talk on that, because the reason why I asked this here, or the reason why I even say this, is because boom, you've got this overnight success. So it's lit. Radio, this, that. You got to do tours. You got to do all of these different things. And it's forever going until... Because essentially it's like a campaign, isn't it? It's still a campaign. You have all of these obligations and brands and all of that, yeah? And then obviously, with that comes financial benefits and stuff like that. But you're still moving around. The moment that you stop... The moment that it all stops and you have time to literally do nothing, surely that's the moment when you realize, hold on a minute, if I want to right now, I could just go and I could go Thailand and just go and live there for 3 months if I want.
Yeah.
And just do that.
Yeah, that they do definitely give you those are the moments where you sit down and you're like, all right, this is what it is. And I think I get that a lot when I speak to my mum as well, though. Yeah. So my mum will call me, not every day, but I speak to her very often. And she's always just stressing how proud she is of me. And sometimes I'm like, I don't process it enough, because I'm like, my mum's now able to do what she wants because I'm able to provide. And in that sense, it's like, I think that really solidified, okay, cool. I'm really doing something that I'm supposed to be, because my mum is able to, do what she wants. And that was really important for me. But yeah, definitely the breaks and sitting down and being like, wow, I know this break that I just had, I just got my BET award. We just finally got it. But just even being able to and not that awards are they're not validation in that sense. You don't do it for the award, but the recognition is to me something great that you can, have for the rest of your life, and just being able to look at that. And I remember watching the BET Awards all the time with my cousin, and just even being at the BET Awards, or being at the Grammys, or being all these different places. I got nominated for a Brit, which is crazy as an R&B artist to get nominated for a Brit Award. So just all these different things, and I've been able to really sit down.
That would have been non-existent for a long time.
I feel like I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but I feel like Estelle is probably the last.
Yeah. That's the last that I would have ever have known about. And maybe long before that, there might have been one other, but that is a extreme rarity. An extreme rarity.
It was me and Georgia. Me and Georgia are in the same category.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, but all in all, I think British R&B is in a great place, and I think that there's a lot of us doing it, and people are paying more attention, which is what makes me happy.
I want to just quickly go to because you mentioned something that I thought was quite interesting, with just your mum being able to do whatever she wants now. That's one of the ultimate goals, isn't it? Really, you work and you put yourself in a situation where you're able to say, Mum, you ain't got to get up.
And she still wants to. She's doing a PhD right now, so she's like, it's still. I think I get it from her. She can't sit still and do nothing, because she feels like, she's doing her PhD, she's doing these whatever courses that she wants, but she's able to really like you said, if she wants to, she can get up and go to New York tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? It's and my grandma the same way, or just my family in general, who have looked after me and instilled, work ethic and basically everything I have. I would do anything for them. So it was a great feeling, yeah.
Shout out to you and Usher, by the way, on that new
thank
record.
you.
I'm not gonna lie, that it's hard. I
Even that,
know
that's insane.
I know there's gonna be a lot of people who do not know this, but the sample comes from an absolute classic.
There's a lot of people that don't know.
Of course.
There's a lot of people that don't.
High Five. Kissing Games. I
Yes.
like the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kissing,
Oh my.
I think it's kissing. It's kissing
Games.
Yeah.
That's an absolute smash.
I'm glad you know that.
Listen, when I tell you, Ella, I'm not joking. Like, I'm not joking.
No, but there's people that are like, I love R&B, but then there's people that are like, I love R&B.
No. My thing's different.
Yeah,
my
okay.
thing's different.
Okay.
Like, I want to. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to sit down, like maybe another day. But there's like, I just want to just sit and just talk about just.
Who's your favorite R&B artist of all time?
I can't really say because he's a bit of a controversial one.
Oh, okay.
You know, like.
Okay.
Yeah, you understand.
Got it.
So
moving on.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, you understand.
Yep.
But I'd probably say there's so many. You know, like
I think it's hard to pinpoint one. What about a favorite R&B album? One of.
Oh, do you know what? Okay, I'll tell you what. Yeah, second is Joe.
Oh.
Joe is my guy,
and he doesn't get enough credit.
People do not speak about Joe
They don't,
enough,
and I don't understand why.
I've always
Why?
said, yeah. Like every time Joe's come to the country, I've gone. Like, so this has been for years.
Wait, was he just here?
Recently, and he's got another one in February, and I'll be at that one too. But it's like I look at him and I just think there's two things that I like about him. One, I just love the swagger, yeah. But two, I love like he sings exactly how the song is as well. So it's like when you're singing along with him, it's exactly like the song. Sometimes like singers come out and then like sometimes you could be doing a little bit too much. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not how the song went. So you're throwing me off when you're.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But growing up for you, like who was you like who's one of your favorites?
I have so many. Lauryn Hill is my all-time favorite. Or I know she's hip-hop based as well, but she's like literally any girl group that you can think of from the 90s or the 2000s. Beyonce, Chris Brown, JoJo.
I know one of your favorites as well though.
Who?
Kinda. Donnell Jones.
Now he is someone that doesn't get spoken about enough.
Why? Why is this?
Maybe it's only because
it's a generational thing now, I think maybe.
But also I think it definitely is a generational thing, but I think also he only really had one album and then he stopped for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think people's attention spans are...
Let me just Google this because there was an album that it was like the second one.
No, Where I Want to Be.
Where I Want to Be was like
the main one.
Yeah, that was that was like that's his classic.
Yeah, that album is so good. But even that is not spoken about enough, I feel like. That's one of my favorites.
Oh, for real, yeah. Yeah, I know that, yeah, Where I Want to Be is one of your favorite albums. I know that. Life Goes On, oh my God.
Oh, but what was the time difference between
This
that
could
and
be
Where I Wanna
incorrect
Be?
because it says 2002, yeah, and I don't know, like Spotify sometimes, there's other streaming apps and stuff available, by the way. But
You're
yeah,
a Spotify guy.
I'm a Spotify guy still. But yeah, so like all of that. See, so as soon as I heard the song with you and Usher, I identified that straight away. And I thought, hold on, am I going mad? Let me just play it quickly to make sure.
You were correct.
But yeah, like what was it like working with him anyway?
It was literally, it was like I was like, okay, so let me give you a backstory. Before I moved to New York, I have family in New York, right?
Yeah.
So I went to New York one Christmas, and I want to say I was 8 years old, I think.
Yeah.
So that was I'm born in 94, so that would be 2002. And I remember my mum said, Usher's doing a free concert tomorrow in Bryant Park with Good Morning America, and we have to get up really early, but do you guys want to go? And me and my cousin were like, yeah, we want to go. So got up stupid early, mind you, it's either November or December, so it's freezing in New York. Like had on my big jacket, everything, took the train with my mum, went to this free Usher concert in Bryant Park. I'm 8 years old, so I'm like yay high and couldn't see anything because everyone was adults. So this lady that was next to me gives me and my cousin made a sign for Usher as well.
Oh, sick.
I don't remember what it said, but
yeah.
I
love you, Usher, with the heart.
And then the lady next to us, she bought like a portable chair, and she was an adult, so she told us we could stand on it because we couldn't see, and we were really upset that we couldn't see. So and that's just when I got in the studio with Usher, that just kept replaying in my head because I was just like, this is wild to actually think like,
crazy.
This is Usher. This is a legend.
Yeah.
This is an R&B legend.
And he's been out here since he was a child.
His what album was it?
8701.
I think did that come out in 94?
No, that's...
No, which one came out in 94?
I'm going to tell you right now. Hold on 1 second, because this is the one.
My
That's the Diddy
Way.
album you're talking about. It's called Usher. The one that came out in 94 was Usher, and then the one that came out after that was My Way.
Okay, and that was in 90...
That was not... My Way came out in 97.
Okay. Well, just to put it into perspective, I'm born in 94. So like...
So you came out when the first one came out.
And I just made a song with Usher and I'm 25 years old.
Yeah,
so
that's
that gives you
perspective.
Yeah, like and like you said with Joe, you go into a studio with Usher, you stand in a room with Usher. Usher sounds exactly like the Usher that you listen to on your Spotify or whatever other app it is. And he's Usher. So when I go into these rooms, I never know exactly what to expect. But I met him before. The first time I met him, we did a festival together in LA, and I met him, and he was super down to earth, and he was just like, "Oh, I would love to work with you." And when people say that to me, I'm like, someone of his stature anyway, I'm like, why do you want to work with me? Like, it always has me like taken back.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm in the studio and he played me the song. They already sent me the song when I was on tour, and I was like, I really, really want to do it, but I want to get in the studio with you. So they wanted me to record it like while I was.
I'm so
on
glad
tour.
that you did that, by the way.
But yeah, I really wanted to do it in the studio with him. So I was like, is there a timeline? Can we make it work to when I get back? We literally cut it so close, and we did it the day after I got back from tour. And just being in there with him and like not knowing what to expect, because I'm like, he might be super picky. He might be like, sing it this way, sing it that way. He was like, do what you want. I just want to hear. I want to hear how you do stuff. And the way I did it, he was just like, he said, I remember the engineer was comping some of my vocals, and he was like asking what the guy put on my vocals or whatever, and he was like, no, that's just the way she sings. And he was just like in awe of that. And for me, that's insane, because I'm like, you know, you're Usher.
Yeah.
Like, but he's super humble and was just super excited. Yeah. And that for me made me super excited, even though I was already super excited.
But you always, sometimes as well, of course it's Usher, but sometimes you have to remember that you are you. So like,
but it's
you know
hard.
what I mean?
I always say that to people, like, I'm you, like, okay, for example, I saw this thing and I was like, this is never a true word spoken. You get up every morning and you look in the mirror and you're used to seeing your face, innit? Yeah. Because you've lived with yourself since you were born, and you're used to every feature that you have, the way your hair sits, whatever. Like, I get up every morning and I'm just used to being me, obviously, right? But someone could walk down the road that's never seen you before and could think you're like the most beautiful, the most handsome person in the whole world that they've ever seen. And not that it's an insecurity, but you're like, what is it about me that you like? Because you're so, you don't realize that you're so used to seeing yourself every day that this person who has never seen you before or never seen anyone who looks like you or in any shape or form is like fascinated because you're new to them. Do you get what I mean? But like, to you, you're you get up, you use the toilet, you do everything the same way.
Yeah, it's normal.
Do you know what I mean? And I saw that and I was like, that's actually so true.
Of course. But I look at it like this as well, is that like, someone wants to work with you because they like whatever it is that you do. So then when you go into a studio or in an environment, there's never any need to change anything up because they want you to come for you to be you.
Of course.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
It doesn't always work like that though.
Okay.
Because you can be in a studio session with someone that you really admire or someone that you really love and love their work, but sometimes it just doesn't work, the two of you together. And that's okay.
That's true.
That's okay. Like, that's going to happen. You're not going to be able to mesh with everyone personally and musically. So it's not always like that, which is why I'm always apprehensive going into sessions with people I haven't worked with before, because you just never, ever know. And you also, like, studio sessions are personal. It has to be like a vibe. Do you know what I mean? And if anything throws the vibe off even a tiny bit, everything's thrown off for me. For me anyway, I'm very big on like vibes. So just to be there and to have him just super like, the vibe was just chilled and he just wanted to see what I wanted to do. It was like, it was cool. Yeah. It was, something I will never ever forget.
Listen, Usher's produced one of my favorite albums, one of them of all time. I still battle between this 8701 and Confessions thing.
Do you know what? I can't, there's so many people I don't think it has to be a battle. Like, let's just
love the both. I hear that.
Like,
no, but I hear that. But sometimes You have to have them conversations where if one had to be terminated, which one are you terminating? So you don't even, you see?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's hard. You don't have to call. And you don't have to call. Absolute smash.
You know what? You know why that's funny actually? When the festival that I did with him was the first time I've seen him live in a while.
Okay.
And he had an hour and a half set? The fact that you can do an hour and a half set and not even play all your songs, mind you, because there's just too many to name, but not have to play the whole song because there's so many that you can just put together and everyone goes crazy. I was like, no, this is actually wild. Like, that's what, like, he's that guy.
That's catalog.
That guy. Yeah, and I think catalog is what in this day and age anyway, because music is so accessible and music gets thrown out every Friday. There's someone new to listen to and you're missing this and that. I think that's what we yearn for, I think, because music, it was a much slower pace, I feel like, that we received music in those times. Yeah. Whereas now it's thrown out at you so much, you kind of just have to pick and choose and you don't even realize you missed something. Yeah.
Do you feel like now though, like artists will be able to be given the time even in their career to build a catalogue now because of that, literally of what you've just said? Things happen so quickly, things move so quickly. You could go quiet for a minute, all of these things are happening, next minute, like, it's just not, it gets lost again.
It depends on what type of artist you are, I think, because if the music is great, the music is great. It doesn't matter how long you take to put it out. Take Frank Ocean, for example. Frank doesn't do interviews, he's rarely seen, doesn't do press, anything, puts out the music and it's still Frank Ocean because the music is that good.
It is as well. But isn't there something else? There's something else about Frank Ocean that keeps people...
It's the mystery effect as well, I think. Yeah. Because he doesn't do interviews and stuff, you don't really know anything about him. Yeah. So you want, it's almost like a... You want that. You want to know. Like, you just want to... But the music is also undeniable. Yeah. So in that sense, I think it's the same with SZA. Like, Control was a very, very important piece of a body of work for R&B.
100%.
And that was how many years ago? 2 years almost ago. 3 years ago now. Yeah. And SZA has been super quiet, but obviously because she can, because Control is Control. Yeah. But I'm guessing because she's working on new music, and I think it doesn't really matter how long she takes with this next album that she puts out or whatever it is that she's working on, because I think the music is that undeniable, and I think it still will be when she puts out something else. I think it really just depends on, in this day and age, we're used to everybody doing all these social media antics and doing a lot for attention that is really away from the music. Yeah. Which is why people get sidetracked, I think. Because if you're doing all of that for attention and your music isn't great, you can still be relevant because you're doing a lot on social media or everywhere else. There's other ways.
Visibility, innit?
Do you know what I mean? But when I was growing up, the people who I looked up to, unless I saw them on an interview or they did like a magazine or anything, you don't know what someone's doing in their house. Now you can watch someone's Instagram story and see them chilling in their bed. Do you know what I mean? So visibility is definitely something that has changed. But if the music, in my personal opinion anyway, the music is undeniable, the music is undeniable. And I think you have to take your time and work on things. I think it's the same thing with Bryson. Like, Trap Soul is always going to be Trap Soul.
Of course.
And
that's his classic.
True to Self came out and people were up in arms about it 50-50, saying it was rushed or whatever. But like, when Bryson drops his next stuff, I'm still a believer that it's the music is undeniable. So it really is just about, to me anyway, the music that you make.
Of course. And then also just like making sure that you deliver to your target audience, and then like whatever happens outside of that happens, because sometimes the noise can cloud.
The noise is very loud.
The noise is
very, very loud. You just have to, and that comes back again to the people that you have around you. And you know, I'm blessed to have a very supportive family, very supportive friends. My team are A1, Mustard, my managers. Like, the noise can be very loud, but when you have your team around you, that not necessarily a wall, because there's certain things that you should take in and certain things that you shouldn't, but like it's important to keep level-headed, good people around you.
Yeah. I have to ask you this though.
Yes.
Before you go, like, you've spent X amount of time preparing mentally for that album moment, which you delivered and was very successful with it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's changed your life.
Yeah.
You've been able to tour and do all of these different things. Yeah. Now the touring stops. You have time to work on this next thing. They always say like you have your whole life to prepare for your first album and stuff. Now you go back the second time around.
Scary.
Is it scary for you? How does it feel? And like, I also want to ask you, where are you drawing your inspiration from this time?
Yeah, it's definitely scary, but I think just in a sense of, because it's a blank canvas, and that can be scary, but it's scary, but it's also super exciting. Yeah, because you really go in with nothing and you just create from scratch and come up with that. I think that's the beauty of making music and making an album. Also, like how I did with LMA, the album. It was like I just watched everything come together slowly but surely, and then all of a sudden it's out and it's platinum and whatever, and it's just like, wow, we really built this from the ground up. Do you know what I mean? So I think with this next album, I've been on tour the whole year. I've seen a whole bunch of new places. I've met a whole bunch of new people. I've, been to places in the world I've never been to, spoken to people I just came back from Asia and they were singing every word and they don't even speak great English. And to me, it was just nuts, it's hard for me to communicate with you, having a conversation, sitting down, speaking to you. But if I start singing to you, you're going to sing right back to me. And that to me was like, this is nuts. So I think I'm drawing inspiration from just everything that I've experienced in the last 2 years, especially. But I'm also like, I'm 25 now again.
You're still young though. Like, I know.
No, it is. But
it feels like, because you've done so much in it.
Yeah.
So it feels like, I was 18 not even that long ago, and now I'm like 25. It does race. I'm not gonna lie to you. It does.
I feel like after 21, it's just.
Listen,
boom.
Let me tell you something here. After 21, it starts going mad. Seriously, you don't know what's happening. So enjoy it. Like, trust me.
No, I do. I definitely do. But I just have, I'm growing as an artist, yes, but as a woman also, and experiencing different things. So I'm just drawing from every aspect of what I experience on a day-to-day basis, really. Yeah.
Listen, man, I think you got it anyway.
Thank you.
There's something about musically, I don't know what it is, but you have it. I think you're going to be fine. You just have to enjoy the process.
No, I will. I'm super excited. Enjoy the process. I'm super excited.
And fall in love with it and hate it at times, but use it as, as motivation to like, put it in your music.
That's the part that people don't see. The nights where you go into the studio and it's just not that
the hating it part.
The writer's block is there and something isn't connecting and you can't figure out what it is, and like it's definitely a process, but it's, as much as you hate it at that point, those are the moments that really make for when you come together with this body of work. Yeah. And you're like, okay, yes. So.
Also, I just wanted to throw out there, I was thinking of an album by Donnell Jones called Journey of a Gemini, which was good. That came out around 2006.
I never heard that album.
So good. Listen, in the whip.
I'm going.
Like, play that.
Play that in the whip.
Yeah. Also, like, there's one song. Why am I doing these bits of thing? But you know what? I just want to throw, because I don't get to talk about R&B. But there's an artist called, you might know him, called Devon Terrell. His name is, I think it's from America. Somehow I managed to find him.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's got a song called No I in Team. You see, if you are in your intimate moments, play this song.
Okay.
No I in Team.
Devon Terrell,
I think his name is. Pregnancy.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you.
Well, we're not trying to do any of that.
I'm telling you, it's sensational. So yeah, like, go for it. But you know what? Thank you for sitting down with me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and just good luck with everything, man.
Thank
you
so much.
Yeah, very, very happy for you.
Thank you.
And yeah, man, take some time. Go and enjoy your life.
I will. I will.
JD in a duffel bag. LMA with me.
Thank you.